So Tier 3 gear has just been announced last Wednesday. Some of you are panicking and a lot of you agree that it seems a bit too early. It is dropping September the 18th. Yes, 100% confirmed, along with Hyper Boost, the new orb weapon, housing, dimensional trial revamp, and battlegrounds. So in this video, I will cover what we do know, what problems and concerns this does bring, my Tier 3 assumptions, and what you should be doing right now. I'm not here to glaze over the fact that, yes, Tier 3 seems a bit early, particularly after we've just had some massive material sinks, like legendary gear and the new upgraded accessories to get these set effects. So first of all, let's cover what we do know. It will bring just 2 new co-op dungeons, not 5 like we had at the release of Talandre. However, we did get a 4-star dungeon since the release of Talandre, and we did just get the release of the new raid. We do know that Tier 3 drops, like gear, will be coming to Stoneguard and Lastland, reviving those areas. That's also because we will not be getting a new map expansion just yet. They'll be revamping the field bosses in that area, which will also revive the Rift Stones, since those bosses will now drop Tier 3 gear, rather than leaving this place completely dead. We do know legendary gear will still be better than our Tier 3 gear, so any investment you've put into that will still be saved, as it will still be the best item. Similarly, legendary armor and legendary accessories will still be better than any Tier 3 you could have just by the sheer amount of stats it will give you. You will still want a Tier 3 weapon to replace your Tier 2 one, or potentially have the ability to upgrade your Tier 2 one. We have no idea what materials we will need. We don't know if it will use the current legendary growth stones, or will it have a completely different tier of growth stones, or use the current existing growth stones just needing more of them. And we don't know if it will use the blessing system, or if we will be able to use any of our current Tier 2 traits. We also do not know if we'll be getting all the weapons, armor and accessories day one. It may very well be likely we don't get new accessories, as we just recently got the upgraded versions. Accessories might not come until November, December, thus respecting the fact that you may have invested in these ones just recently. And we do not know if we'll be able to upgrade our archboss weapons. Will we be able to bring them to Tier 3? Or will they become completely irrelevant? So that's what we do know. And me pointing out a bunch of unknowns that already bleeds into our concerns. So the problems I have with Tier 3, the big one is PvP. Exactly the same issue I had with the launch of Talandre. You may have heard me complaining about it. And that's PvP content and the whole pay to win debate. With a new expansion, and this is going to happen no matter when the expansion drops, no matter which tier it is, it's a soft reset for everybody. All of a sudden, there's a new tier of gear to get. You're going to have to upgrade everything again, get new things, unlock new traits, buy new traits, get all those ores to get like growth stones and things like that. Which means, yes, a pay-to-win player gets a big advantage. Whales will have a huge advantage in PvP. In PvE, you don't feel that. Yes, if somebody else can beat the dungeon a little bit faster than you, it's kind of whatever. They're not really getting rewarded for that, other than maybe slightly with the trial revamp. But yes, you don't feel it in PvE. And so, you may have seen, I pretty much just went onto the PvE train and kind of abandoned PvP for that very reason of the big gear gap. It encourages you to pay and rush upgrades because you want to remain competitive. You don't want to get completely stomped in PvP. So that here is going to be the biggest concern. PvP will just feel bad again, like the release of Tier 2. And you may feel that even worse because you only just caught up. I did suggest they should add some sort of gear equalization for PvP, but they don't really see it as an option or something they ever want to do. And yes, we did just get those new accessories, as I pointed out. And a concern is, will the Tier 3 replace those or allow them to be upgraded again? It feels like a bit of a bait if you just invested in them, say to get the set bonus, get that extra bit of hit points, and all of a sudden tier 3 might just replace them entirely. Another concern is we feel a little bit baited with the legendary gear to have spent all our unlock and conversion stones. It's rather insane the amount you needed to spend to change these traits if you got a bad drop. Or even as you see here, to unlock a trait still needed 600 unlock stones. It seems rather ridiculous, and then you're worried about tier 3, you might even need more unlock stones and conversion stones. But I will remind you, we do not even know if tier 3 will use unlock stones or conversion stones. Or the fact tier 3 might even need more conversion stones and unlock stones to get the traits on that gear, making legendary gear look like it's cheap. Additionally, tier 3 may bring content that makes getting unlock stones and conversion stones a lot easier. Like simply getting more loyalty coins, which is very likely to happen, means we also get more unlock stones. Every loyalty coin is an unlock stone. I would also say getting Hyper Boost at the same time as the tier 3 release may not feel like the smartest decision. They could have done it a month or two before tier 3, allowing new players to join and actually catch up to the level of the existing player base and be able to remain at that for a little bit of time. However, now they'll be getting Hyper Boost. Yes, they will be catching up, but then they have that big ladder of tier 3 to climb. However, everybody else is also going to be on that ladder of tier 3 to climb. Sure, again, pointing out to PvP, it will suck because Wales will just get a big advantage with pay to win, where everybody else, like free to play players or people who don't want to spend much, will take their time catching up, and you will get stomped in PvP versus somebody who's maxed out. And there's just nothing I feel they're going to change about that. That's just the worst thing in Throne of Liberty, that pay to win in PvP. And finally, Battlegrounds. Yeah, we're getting it at the same time as tier 3, which again feels pretty awful with that pay to win with PvP. It would have been nice to experience Battlegrounds at a level playing field. When everybody's at the maxed out tier 2, you're all on pretty much level playing field, bar some arch boss items or maybe nebula drops you couldn't get. But it was at least a better balance like we had at the end of tier 1, and people would have caught up. And it would have been nice to experience Battlegrounds in that state, and where everybody's at a level playing field. Now it's going to be you're running into people who are big whales who simply have all tier 3 maxed out within a week of it dropping, and they completely stomp on you because they have way more damage and they have all their evasion and endurance maxed out, versus you still struggling to upgrade it because you don't want to spend so much money on Lucent. But now I want to jump to some assumptions. This is what I think tier 3 will bring. Nothing here has been confirmed, but I assume it will still have the same blessing system. We will just have a jump up again in how many blessings we need, but it should allow us then to transfer our current gear into like new tier 3 gear, meaning we preserve some of those blessings and make it a bit cheaper to upgrade some of those traits, which would also mean you can blessing stack right now in preparation. But that's just an assumption. They could completely do away with blessings for tier 3. We don't know. I also think they will probably not use the same materials as legendary gear. I think that's going to remain in its own little bubble of progression. It's intended to take months and months to get the amount of growth stones needed to upgrade those things. You're not supposed to be able to rush it. It's not pay to win in terms of the actual levels of the item, because getting those growth stones is directly just tied to your raid and how often you can do it. Tier 3 will very likely bring the same system where you will want to do your Abyss dungeons, you'll want to do co-op dungeons to get those Abyss tokens, and then you'll go farm mobs, you'll get ores, you'll get drops, you'll craft growth stones. And it will probably be a new tier, like above, needing a ton more of these growth stones and probably different ones. Not sure how they will do it when we already have legendary growth stones. And we probably can use unlock stones in tier 3 gear, but we'll probably need a lot more than right now. We need 200 for a tier 2 weapon, so we'll probably need 400 for a tier 3 weapon. However, they could just as well make it 600, like a legendary weapon. And that way, if you've spent unlock stones on a legendary weapon, you won't feel hard done by that you've spent them. Because again, tier 3 would be exactly the same. And your legendary weapon will still be the best weapon to have in tier 3. It will probably also be the same amount of time it will take you to max out. A good few months. And then at that point, we'll probably get a new map expansion and different tier 3 gear. Of course, you can just wait. By all means, don't even play tier 3 until you think the entire expansion's out, when we actually get the new map update. But then you can also argue maybe you'll wait to tier 4, don't spend anything until then. And then it's like, yeah, simply don't play the game. It's just something you have to kind of enjoy in Throne of Liberty. If you don't enjoy that character progression, continually working towards new upgrades, then I'm not sure what you're doing playing this game. Again, I think there will be like new upgrade materials. The conversion to like the new growth stones and new ores will probably be terrible. And hoarding will probably not be rewarded nearly as much as it was with tier 2. So people will be very unlikely to be able to max out day 1. The new content with tier 3, like the reworked field bosses, probably reworked abyss dungeons, I would assume those areas is where it's going to drop all the new stuff, and like a lot of it compared to what you could get in the current existing content. Like imagine right now you go do your abyss burn, you get 20 million solent, but then with the new update you do the same burn and you'd get 100 million solent. This kind of a difference. So yeah, I don't think hoarding is going to be very effective for tier 3. But this is just assumptions again. Finally, how should you deal with tier 3 with the announcement of it? Well, I would simply wait for further information. If you're free to play, don't plan on focusing on PvP in tier 3 soon as it drops because it will be super expensive. I do not recommend rushing, but yes, some people will, and they will get an advantage above you. So if you don't like that pay to win element in PvP, by all means don't play it. Just focus on PvE and you'll have a total chill time. You won't be as pressured to actually spend Lucent to rush upgrading. Right now, don't panic until we have further info. Hoard everything and do not spend Lucent. If you want to buy an Archboss weapon, I just wouldn't do it right now. We don't know if those will be upgradable. Don't be buying new accessories. Don't be buying new armor. Just make do with what you have now until September the 18th. It's not that long to wait. This update will probably launch just like Tier 2 did in Korea. Tier 2 in Korea, they simply got a bit of a map update. The Tier 1 bosses all of a sudden started dropping Tier 2 gear. Their Abyss dungeons did as well, and they did not get a map expansion. The map expansion happened a few months later, and that's probably exactly what they're doing for us. And that's again because we're getting the update at the same time. It's not like Korean version got tier 3 before us. So they seem to be just following the exact same path. First they drip feed some new tier 3 stuff, and then later on they bring a map expansion and drop even more. Keep in mind again, we're not just getting a little bit of tier 3 gear. We're getting Hyper Boost, a new orb weapon, housing, trial revamp, battlegrounds. It's still going to be a pretty considerable update. The map expansion will just be later. And again, it will probably bring new gear and probably better tier 3 gear with like better set effects or something. So you can always just wait in tier 3. Don't heavily invest right then and there in the new stuff until you consider whether it's going to be worth it. We are also getting a whole new weapon. These things take a lot of budget to create, a lot of time investment from devs to create. With all those new animations, the amount of different weapon drops across all the different content they have to create, they have to balance that with all the 8 other weapons and how they're going to synergize with it. And again, the cost of unlock stones and conversion stones on legendary gear will probably still have been worth it. Like if you have spent those, it is probably still worth it compared to what you can get in tier 3. It is not confirmed we can use unlock stones or trait conversion stones with tier 3. And if we can, the cost will probably be very similar to legendary gear. Right now, we just have to wait for further info. But in conclusion, yes, tier 3 seems a bit early. In terms of PvP, it's going to suck. Whales are going to be able to take that big advantage ahead of you, at least in terms of upgrading traits by simply buying Lucent. Free-to-play players are going to have a great time making money off those whales, as usual. Just don't rush your upgrades and you'll be fine. Make the Lucent while it's early, chill out and don't engage in PvP until later, and at least that's what I'll probably be doing. Your legendary gear, don't worry about it at all. It's very likely everything you've spent on it will be worth it compared to what Tier 3 brings, and the cost that Tier 3 has. The materials you have right now probably won't be worth much in Tier 3. We just don't have enough info right now, but I see where some of you are coming from, that it just feels like a cash grab. If you compare it to Korea, Tier 2 did drop exactly like this. No map update, just updating some of the existing content with Tier 2 gear. But in the end, the game devs are releasing this update to make money, to give us something to do, to give us more things to spend on, to change up the dynamic, change up the meta, giving us entirely new weapons with different effects, new gear with set bonuses, allowing for completely different builds to shine. And of course, you can say it's just a cash grab and the devs just want to make money. In the end of the day, that's the goal of the dev company, to make money and give us something to have fun with. If you don't have fun playing this game, progressing your character, well, I think you know where the door is. If everybody leaves, I'm sure the devs will try cop on and do something to make the game better. But that's it for this one. A special thank you to all these channel members for your added support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around.